what's happening, everybody out there? This your boy once again, Mr. Pound for Pound. It's going down all day, every day. Boxing is what we talk about. We got to talk about it, man. History was made. Bernard Hopkins, the oldest boxer of all time, any division, any year, any decade, call it what you want to call it, the oldest champion in the history of boxing, 46 years old. Actually, we're going to say 46 years young because that's exactly how he looked against the younger Jean Pascal in his own hometown of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Took it to the younger man, lifted the titles, fought him for the IBO WBC light heavyweight title. They also fought for the vacant WBC diamond light heavyweight title. I don't think Hopkins, however, got the IBO because I know he didn't pay his sanctioning fees. So I think when you don't pay your sanctioning fees, I don't think he got the IBO title. So that one might still be up for grabs. Maybe he'll fight for it in another fight. But we all know B-Hop, he ain't really tripping off the championships, the titles. I mean, he went for history, you know what I'm saying? As far as the belt's concerned, a belt is just material. Hopkins is going for history, and that he definitely did do. Like I said, I mean, what more can he do? Defended his middleweight title, record 20 times? That's history. Oldest fighter ever to win a champion, 46 years old. That's history. One of the only fighters to ever retain all 4 major titles in one fight. That's history. I mean, the man is the ultimate fighter. Let's just recap Bernard Hopkins' career before I get into the John Pascal fight. People don't want to give him credit. I've always given Bernard credit. He's always been one of my favorite fighters since day one when I seen him fight. I've always looked at him and been like, you know, damn, this is like a modern Marvin Hagler right here. You just look at his build. He was always had that strong build. He had that gritty style. Came from the jails, hard knock attitude. The man's a real fighter, and as well as an intelligent boxer. I know he has a mouth. I know he has a attitude that a lot of people can't warm up to. He has a big mouth, and a lot of people kind of get tired of it. But nonetheless, give him his respect. Give him his props. That's B-Hop, legend. We have a living legend, and a lot of people don't appreciate that. When we have a living legend today, we don't appreciate him until they're gone and dead. Appreciate him now. Anyways, like I said, let me recap. For all y'all Bernard Hopkins haters out there, let's just recap his career. Let's say Glenn Johnson, 32-0, knocked him out. Simon Brown, 47-6, knocked him out in the 6th. Robert Allen, they had a no contest. Second fight, Robert Allen was 23-2, knocked him out. Antoine Eccles was also 22-2, unanimous decision win. The tough, gritty performances over Antoine Eccles, who's a tough opponent for anybody. Sid Vanderpool, 28-1, unanimous decision victory over him. Let's just skip a couple. Felix Trinidad was 40-0. He was like pound for pound the man to beat besides Sugar Shane Mosley at the time. TKO victory. Boom, knocked Trinidad out in round 12. Carl Daniels, 47-3. Murat Hakar, 31-3. Murat Hakar, I won't really give too much credit for that, but nonetheless, the record speaks for itself. Boxing's a hard sport to stay undefeated in if you're constantly fighting. William Joppy, good, strong fighter, 34-2. Wiped out Joppy. We all saw that. Robert Allen fought him again, 36-4 at the time, unanimous decision victory. De La Hoya knocked him out. Kind of questionable. I've always kind of questioned that fight. It kind of looked funny to me, but whatever. He did his thing in that fight. Howard Eastman was 40-1, unanimous decision win there. He lost 2 fights to Jermaine Taylor. I personally thought he won the first fight. It was a split decision victory. I kind of thought, yeah, he lost the second fight. It was a little on Jermaine's side, but they were building Jermaine Taylor as the new up-and-coming young fighter, kind of, just how networks do. So, the judges already had Jermaine winning the fight before Bernard even stepped in the ring. So, Antonio Tarver, 24-3, was supposed to beat Hopkins, got banged. Ronald Winky Wright. I know a lot of people always tend to forget, oh, Hopkins fought Wright? Yes, he did. And not only did he fight Wright, he banged him. And Winky Wright was considered, after beating Shane Mosley, he's in the top pound for pound. He was 51-3 at the time. He got annihilated, just like I said he would. Joe Calzaghe, a little too busy for Hopkins, but hey, a little too busy, a little too young, 44-0. I personally love Joe Calzaghe. I called it and predicted, and I made a good amount of money when he beat Jeff Lacey. Couldn't believe people thought Lacey was going to beat him. Kelly Pavlik, 34-0, got banged by Hopkins. Tune-up fight. Enrique Ornelas was a tune-up fight, pretty much 29-5. We won't through too much props on that. The Roy Jones rematch, 54-6 at the time. He pretty much had that glass jaw. Anyway, here we are to John Pascal, young, strong, champion, WBC, IBO champion, from Quebec, Canada. They fought in Canada the first time. I gave you guys my prediction, my breakdown, what I thought of the first fight. I thought Hopkins got robbed. I personally thought he won the fight. He lost in the beginning, a couple of the rounds, but then just dominated the rest half of the fight. This fight, let's talk about the rematch. Here we go. John Pascal came into the ring. The do's and don'ts. He should have did what I said he should have did, which was what he did in rounds 4 and 12, which was brawl. But you got to brawl if you got that style, and you know mentally that you're not a really tough guy. You know mentally that you really can't go the rounds. You need to train Aaron Pryor style. I'm talking, you need to train to be able to throw nonstop punches, hard punches, if you're going to beat a Bernard Hopkins, because other than that, he's going to outwit you, outsmart you, outfight you, and that's exactly what he was doing to John Pascal. John Pascal didn't really have a jab. His body movement around the ring, his footwork didn't really impress me for a young guy. I thought he was going to use a lot more footwork. I thought he was going to pop the jab a lot more. He pretty much just looked to use his youth and his strength, and that really didn't work out. And it would never work out against a crafty veteran that's already seen those type of styles before numerous times. You know, he's gonna weather the storm, which he did in round 4 when he got clipped. Weather the storm and come back harder. Round 3, we saw Bernard clip Pascal and actually hurt him very badly. He was actually more hurt than I think the commentators gave Hopkins credit for. Didn't throw a punch for the remainder of the round almost, and was pretty badly on some wobbly legs. And I thought in the 4th, Bernard was going to clean him out, but ironically, Pascal came back with a nice hard shot, had him hurt, had him wobbled. Haven't seen Bernard like that in a while. Round 12 was a really scary round. Pascal's probably best chance to win the fight, and he kind of just let off the gas. I mean, you got a guy hurt like that, you know you're losing the fight, unless Pascal's ego is just so big that he thought he was winning at that point. It was obvious you were losing. Go after the knockout. I mean, punch till your arms can't punch no more. Like I said, I'm a fighter. I would have literally punched until I got knocked out, or if I got clipped with a shot, oh well, at least I tried. He had nothing to lose. He was already losing at that point. So, John Pascal could have did a lot more. Like I said, he could have popped the jab. He could have threw some 1-2s. A lot of body shots. The obvious thing to do to slow down an older fighter is go to the body. You should have went to the body in rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, for the first half of the fight, I would have, if it was me, I would have destroyed Hopkins' body. I mean, my whole training camp would have been body, 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 body. And that was it. I'd be killing that old man's body so that when the latter half of the rounds came, he wouldn't have had those legs to survive when he got hurt. Anyways, back to the fight. So, like I was saying, Bernard Hopkins, let's talk about him. Beautiful. What can you say about Bernard? He did everything an old veteran fighter can do. He used his jab. He used movement. I mean, he moved side to side. He didn't move backwards. You know, you go straight down the railroad tracks, the train's still coming at you. He moved side to side. He did beautiful things. He actually threw right hands, and that was actually what I wanted to see more of him do, because every time he threw a looping right hand, it actually landed on Pascal, and I was pretty shocked. So the 1-2s are great. The inside fighting with Bernard has always been beautiful. I've always loved it. It's always been the boxing craft, and you know, even the little dirty tactics, they're not really dirty unless they're super dirty. That's my book. Like I said, I'm a fighter. You got to do what you got to do. People, this is a fight. Elbows happen, headbutts happen, bumping into each other happens, shoulder shrugs happen, things happen. You know, getting hit in the kidneys, getting hit, but all that stuff happens. But if it happens repeatedly and it happens to the point where someone's actually getting hurt, or cuts are happening, or they're getting hit in the back so hard, or the back of the head that they actually go down, and then that needs to be, you know, talked about. But like I said, this is a fight. Things happen. Bernard doesn't do it, in my eyes, dirty to the point where the fight needs to be stopped or points deducted, but he gets it in. If you guys know what I'm saying, he gets it in. Here you go, take this little bit here, boom, 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 and he gets them in. He gets them in where they need to be, and the next thing you know, his opponent is fatigued, and they don't know why. I've done it myself to fighters in sparring. I've actually learned it. I've had it done to me by former world champion Juan Lascano, but they do these little things, and you wonder, damn, why am I getting so tired? And the next thing you know, you start thinking, you go back to your corner, and your coach is telling you, hey, you notice this, you notice this, you notice that. That's exactly what happened to John Pascal. Personally, let's get a little personal right here. I personally don't, no one get offended because I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just like to speak, freedom of speech. But I personally don't feel that Canadian fighters are stronger than American fighters. I don't think they have the mental makeup for it. Canadian people are just really nice people. I don't really think they have the dirtiness, the mental edge, the grittiness that American fighters bring. You know what I'm saying? We're just tougher fighters. It's not a bad thing. Like I said, I've been to Canada. I've visited over there. They're nice people. Great. More power to you. But I knew kind of right there. And if you listen to my pre-fight prediction, I said that. I was like, Pascal doesn't have the mental makeup. Deep down inside, he doesn't have the mental makeup to beat a Bernard Hopkins. Same thing with GSP. Let's take it over to MMA. I mean, GSP, great athlete, great performer, but if you put some pressure on GSP mentally, he'll break down. He's not tough, gritty tough mentally. But let's get off that. Back to the fight. Like I said, Bernard got 2 knockdowns and wasn't awarded the 2 knockdowns. I was literally jumping out of my seat, screaming at the television in anger because I thought those were legitimate knockdowns. HBO commentators are arguing like as if they didn't know it was a knockdown. Max Kellerman, they're all here. I'm sitting there like, dude, those were both legitimate knockdowns. I don't need to be a HBO analyst for 10, 15 years to not know that. Like, I know though. I know because I've been in there. I know it. Those were knockdowns. Didn't get awarded. The scorecards should have been a lot more open. Scorecards officially at the end were 116, 112, 115, 114, 115, 113. So, I mean, nothing more could be said. Even not even getting those knockdowns, he still won by large margins. So let me get off this. Let's talk about the what's to come. I believe Dawson's next. If Chad Dawson's next, I say bring on anybody. One person I am not so anxious to see Hopkins fight is Boutte. I do believe Boutte is a really good fighter. I believe he brings a lot of good things to the table. He's strong and he has a good punch. Still quick and young. I think that's a tough fight for Hopkins. As far as Chad Dawson, I don't think that's too tough of a fight for Hopkins. I think that Chad Dawson, he brings some things into the ring as far as pure boxing and his standpoint is, and I think Emmanuel Stewart will be able to help him with some things. But I just don't see that he has the power to keep Bernard Hopkins honest. You know what I mean? I don't think he has the power to really keep that respect level there and keep Bernard off. And I think Bernard will wear him down same way as he did Pascal. But other fights, like I said, if he does fight a Boutte, I think Boutte would be a harder fight for him. But like I said, there's not much to say about the fight, but other than what I said, I give you my views. I got a few emails. People wanted to hear my perspective about it, and that's what it is. I love it. Bernard is a legend. Everybody just soak it in. All the haters out there, keep on hating because you ain't doing nothing but making his pockets bigger. Just witness history in the making. And I believe we're going to witness some more history in the making from Bernard Hopkins. Personally, in my book, he's definitely one of the greatest all-time middleweights of all time. I wouldn't say he's better than, like a Sugar Ray Robinson, but he's up there. He's up there. I would put him like equally with Marvin Hagler because I believe a prime Bernard Hopkins and a prime Marvin Hagler, I think that's a pick'em fight. I really do. That'd be a pick'em. You couldn't really say who would win. That'd be a pick'em fight. But as far as that, props to B-Hop. One, history in the making. Everybody that saw it, feel proud that you saw it. And everybody that didn't see it, go ahead and watch the replay. The oldest man in the history of boxing, besides George Foreman, Bernard Hopkins, the oldest ever, 46 years old. And I honestly believe he will go on to his 48s and 49s and 50s. I'm only 28. I personally wanted to retire when I was 35, 36, because I'm just starting out my pro debut pretty soon. Bernard inspired me to keep on going. I might fight till I'm in my 50s now. But anyways, Bernard Hopkins, I love you, man. You are an inspiration to all true boxers, and just keep it going. Everybody out there, have a good day.